What's up, everybody? Welcome back to HOA MMA. AJ, couple weeks off. I've been busy. I've been sick. I've been dealing with these different issues. I'm sorry, but I'm excited to be back with you. How you doing, man?
Bro, I missed you, man. Even though we still keep in contact. First of all, glad to see that you're fully recovered. All, all systems go now because we've got a big card to look forward to.
Yes.
A lot to catch up on. A lot's happened. Um, you know, yeah, like we've missed out on quite a few fight nights. We've had two new champions since the
Right.
last time we were on. Dricus Duplessis won in a very close fight against Sean Strickland, and Raquel Pennington won against
Yeah.
Bueno as well, which was a like, let's just be real.
Who do you blame more for that, though? Who do you blame more for that? Raquel or Bueno Silva?
It kind of goes both ways. I
Yeah.
mean, Bruno Silva after round two, she didn't have an answer,
No,
and
shit.
Raquel did Raquel things. Like, you do what you need to do. Like, you go out there and you win. It wasn't the most fun fight. It was a tough watch. I'll be like,
Yeah.
let's just put it out there. It was a tough watch. If I'm Julia Pena, as annoying as she can be at times, she's probably looking at very
Right.
favorably. And again, what I said at the very start of the year, if I'm also Valentina Shevchenko, I'm moving up because there's no one who's really gonna have an answer for her.
For
But
sure.
I'll say congratulations for her. Other people who stood out over the last couple of weeks, Neil Magny.
Yeah.
He really shocked me. He really put it on Mike Malott, even though Mike Malott did look good
Yeah.
until the very end of that fight.
Man, he was winning that fight. It
He
felt like
was
he was
winning
winning
quite
that. He was
clearly.
winning that fight, and he said it himself. It just kind of it just got away from him there at the end. That was tough for him. One of the guys from Canada that I really like, but like you said, a good win. Way out to go out and steal the victory at the end there.
Exactly. It was a tough night for Canada. They all lost. All the
Yeah,
Canadians.
no, the Canadians got destroyed
Yeah, they got
that night.
rough. Um, Ivaluev is officially a top contender now. Don't
Well,
get wrong. I thought Arnold Allen kind of got hard done by when it obviously came to the knee, but
yeah,
Mosfar is legit. Like, expect to see him against the big boys
it
very, very soon.
it feels like it's unfortunate for him because it feels like in some ways he's been tainted a little bit because, like you said, the knees, by everything we've figured out, they were legal, but
Mhm.
then he got stopped, and then Arnold got stopped in the dominant position, and they obviously took the time, went back, saw the knees were legal, but you can't really reclaim perfect position, and then obviously had the match with Diego Lopez that was a lot harder than we thought. So I just feel like I want to see him get a clean victory. I understand anytime you can get a win over Arnold Allen, that's a fantastic win, but I want to see one cleanly happen so we don't have any of these kind of hiccups in the resume. But overall, I think you're totally right. The guy's kind of a monster. But yeah, continue with some of the gals that we missed in our time off.
Yeah, and then I would say on the Imavov and Delize fight, Imavov looked good, even though Delize was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I would have thought the same if he fought the same way he fought against Vittori, which I still think he won that fight.
Hmm.
He probably would have won a couple of weeks ago. But full credit to Nasruddin. He looked really impressive. He's kind of bounced back now. He had a few like really like flat like
Yeah.
after showing a lot like promise probably in like 2022. 2023 wasn't really his basic year and he looked quite flat. But he's kind of bounced back with that. Moicano's talk on the mic is probably a bit more exciting than him inside the octagon.
Yeah.
Unless you're if you obviously don't like grappling, but to go out and do that against obviously Drew Dober,
Yeah,
very very
it's
impressive.
it's a good win. And
Very,
like you said, people always talk about it, but Mike's skills will get you indoors. You can talk your way into a fight. It's not always the punches and the kicks. Sometimes, that mic work will get you your foot in the door. So, like you said, I think that does help him down the road. Shout out to Molly McCann getting back in the win column with her arm bar. She's still out there fighting. She's fighting tough opponents. She's trying to work her way back up. It is what it is. She's still fun to watch.
Yeah, and even though she was gonna break that girl's arm, like she had that girl screaming in pain.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad.
That was bad.
One of my ones to watch to look out for, Natalie Silva on the same card, looked very good. She's there for someone at 125 pounds that everyone's gonna keep her eye on as well. But yeah, it's been quite a busy week in terms of sport, combat sport. Obviously, we both watched the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Crazy game, overtime. Shout out to our friend CJ. He was still trying to recover from that, because that was brutal, man, to lose.
That was really tough.
Yeah.
AJ, then we'll touch on it real quick. Super Bowl, what, 58 now?
Yeah.
Really good defensive battle, and then we get to overtime. What were your thoughts on the 49ers taking the ball first? Didn't love it. I didn't love it. It's a big risk with Patrick Mahomes. Massive risk.
It's a big risk either way, because you kind of know, like, if you've seen Patrick, when apart from the second half against obviously the Bengals in 2021, sorry, Patrick Mahomes rises to the occasion when it matters most. So if the Chiefs were to obviously get the ball first, they were most likely going to go down there and basically score anyway. So it really puts the pressure on you to go out there, and you're going to have to match that. The biggest worry for me was that who leaves Chris Jones open like that on third? Who leaves him on block like that? Because he got in Brock Purdy's face like that. Like, it was just it was just literally just like the Niners played well.
They did. They played a decent game
Until they needed to. If that makes sense. Like, you're doing well throughout the whole game, and just like at the moments that matter, it was like those few like lapses, and like Mahomes was just locked in. Like, him and the Chiefs were like locked in, and they made the plays when it matters, because in the first half their offense was doing nothing. Like,
terrible. Really, yeah.
They were getting swarmed. And then in the second half, as he does in every Super Bowl in which he's won so far, they make the changes, and then when it matters, they make the plays. Like on 4th and 1, you're feeling
that was one of the better play calls of the entire game, because in Mahomes, that's something that I think people give him credit for, but maybe not enough credit. Is if you are within 4 yards, Mahomes will scramble and he will get that. I mean, it's almost like money in the bank, and it helps having the Kelsey option that you have to guard. But that looked like that was pretty much a design run the whole way, and just Kelsey was there to have somebody have to put a body on him. Just that play right there sums up. It's hard to even come up with anything to say against the guy. He's just so damn good at this point. And he's in the echelon of, hey, I'm probably 2 Super Bowls away from being the greatest quarterback of all time. Like,
7, which is wild.
Well, but I'm saying is, I think if Tom has 7 and Mahomes gets to 5, I think you're probably on even, if not maybe putting Mahomes above him. I mean, it's extremely close. That resume that Tom put together is wild, but Mahomes is 29, and he's already got 3.
28.
Yeah, 28. So even more reason to, he's in Tom Brady air already. A couple more Super Bowls, man, and he's right there. And it's just, it's hard to even go against the guy at this point. He's just so damn good. But enough about the Super Bowl, AJ. We've got some fights to talk about.
Yes, sir.
This past weekend, Jack Hermannson versus Joe Pyfer fight card. Was there anything on the prelims, AJ, that caught your eye? I know you came in a little late for the prelims. I just wanted to say nice shout out to Carlos Paredes beating Trevin Giles with the KO/TKO punch.
So,
I enjoyed watching those two guys get down for 2 rounds. So anything else to add on to the prelims?
for the prelims, for me, no. Personally, nothing really caught fire for me. But like I said, like that fight, because like that fight was fun, and
Yeah,
both guys were obviously were finding like their moments, and then Trevor just got caught, man, and he got laid out. He just got
he
laid
did.
out.
He was doing a great job on the legs too, man. And it just all of a sudden, that's fighting though. It literally takes one, and it changes the entire fight. But I thought those guys being the main event of the prelims deserved a little bit of a shout out because I thought they had a solid fight. AJ, let's get into the main card here. Ferreira versus Arman Petrosan. Ferreira with the arm triangle. What were your thoughts on that fight?
If you cut if you kind of go if you were to make like a fight camp to face against this guy, it's very clear. Do not let him grab a hold of you. He is I think he's a 7-time world BJJ champion, and it clearly shows because if he manages to get you down and grab you, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And Prigozhin is really good on the feet. As you've shown against Christian Leroy Duncan, he's very sharp on the feet. And Rodolfo showed improvements on the feet, and he was doing enough. He was doing enough. And then literally, and I feel like Prigozhin was getting annoyed and frustrated. And that's when he started to over commit, and that's when Ray went, okay, I see you now. There's my little gap. I'm gonna go in there, and he choked him out, man. Like very impressive.
Very impressive. I agree. He's a guy who I think it can be competitive at the middleweight division going forward. He obviously struggled with Chris Curtis, so in one of his 2 losses, but I think he's a guy who could be potentially, in that 15 to 13 type area at some point, and maybe work his way up higher. I think he has some good skills, but I thought that was a good win for him. Next on the card, Michael Johnson versus Darius Flowers. Michael Johnson gets the unanimous decision. To me, that's one of the better fights I've seen him fight. I thought that was Michael Johnson maybe at his best, probably in the last couple of years. What were your thoughts on Michael Johnson?
You have to be quite somebody to really put Michael Johnson out. Like Michael Johnson kind of fights in 2 ways. There are fights where he looks like a world beater, and then there are times when like he'll just get completely like flatline. That we saw against Ferreira like last time out. I think that was his last fight when he just got iced. He just got iced.
Ferreira when he knocked him out cold. Yeah.
So when Michael Johnson fights against people where he walks in knowing I'm actually better than you, and I fought guys at a much higher level, that's kind of when he shines. When he fights against people who are of the same level as him, or have fought opponents around of the same caliber, that's when Michael Johnson gets in trouble, and that's when he's more likely to get caught. So again, he walked in there feeling that I should go out there and beat you, and he just went out there and he did it. So
yeah, he looked good. Question for you. Let me pose a question for you. Does Michael Johnson have the best losses in the UFC?
Easy.
He's got Beneil Dariush, Nate Diaz, Khabib, Justin, Josh Emmett, Thiago Moises. I mean, he's got a who's who of losses in his career. I mean, he's fought everybody. He's fought from the top all the way back down to the bottom.
Shark Tank. It's a Shark Tank at 155 pounds.
And it's he's
tank over there.
Guy's definitely taking some on the chin, but still around fighting really good fights. Brad Tavares versus Gregory Rodriguez, aka RoboCop. Man, RoboCop. Just what more can you say about that guy? I thought Brad Tavares would be able to push him, and to me, Rodriguez controlled a majority of the fight, and I never felt like Brad Tavares got comfortable and was able to get into what he does best. What are your thoughts on the TKO from Gregory Rodriguez?
He was playing good pressure throughout the whole fight. He was literally just he was backing Brad up, and he was just on him. whole time. He was unleashing like 10 box combinations. He was really he went out there. He went out there to say, I will go out there and I will break you. And he really wanted to go and break Brad. And then he probably knew coming into round 3 that he was winning comfortably. I'm winning comfortably, but I want to take this out of the judge's hands. And then he literally went for it. Like he didn't play it safe. He went out there to go and grab the finish. And that 1-2, man, that literally dropped him.
Yeah.
And that was literally all it wrote. And then he literally just like teed off on him. Very impressive. And it's really good to see, because after around the start of last year, when against Bruno Ferreira, let you just put him out cold. He's now put on back-to-back KO wins. That kind of shows he's basically put that loss to basically one side, and he can now make a push at 185 pounds, which is very much open season right now. So if there is a time to get like a ranked fight, this year's the year.
How far do you think he can go at 185?
I probably
because yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to think. You know, is he a 15 to 10 guy, or can he be more than that?
I would say the 15 to 10 guy, because obviously, for one, he has a very exciting style. So then obviously, for him to obviously get the opportunities to fight against guys like that, it will come. Cracking top 10 inside any kind of weight class is a very, very difficult thing to do. As we saw we're going to talk about it inside the main event. It's really hard to basically crack into the top 10, and there's a reason why there are also certain guys who stay within that 6 to 10 ranking for a very long time, because it's really hard to beat those guys. Those guys only lose against 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Right.
You know,
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
I
think he's good. I think he's really good. I just haven't seen anything that makes me feel like he will crack into that
next level.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I think that's good. Let's move on to the next one. Robert Brychek versus Ihor Pataria.
Weird fight.
Man. Ihor looks good. I like the way that guy fights, and that's nothing against Robert. I find him, Ihor, to be interesting to watch. What were your thoughts on that fight, with the unanimous decision going to Ihor?
Ihor was in trouble in round 1. It was only until the eye poke and the punch in the nuts, that's when, and obviously there were like literally round 1. I think round 1 was lasted for about 9 minutes. That's basically a long time. And that kind of gave Ihor time to kind of just reset himself, recover, focus. And, you know, he managed to obviously turn the tide around. But in round 1, he was in trouble. Like, he was getting beat up on. He was getting beat up on. So
I'm glad you said that, because that reset kind of, you know, that little time there kind of reset him. And after that, he definitely kind of took over in the striking department of the fight. So I think that's a good point by him. You know, I still think Robert can fight. I think he's a solid fighter. I would like to see him get back in there. What do you think's next for Ihor, though? Because did he call out? Who did he call somebody out? I thought somebody called out RoboCop at the end, but maybe I misheard what I was. Either way, good solid fight. Ihor takes the unanimous decision. Now let's move on. Dan, 50K Ige versus Andre Fili. Dan gets it done again, man. What were your thoughts on Dan getting the win there?
It was a fun fight. You know, Fili definitely had like his moments in that fight, but then he was very loose. He was kind of like really feeling himself. Like he felt really good in there, but then he got a bit too comfortable, and then he was kind of staying in the pocket a little bit too much. And that is literally Dan Ige's world. And then Ige saw him throw Feely threw one little lazy jab, and Ige's eyes
Boom.
went overhand over the top.
Yep.
He was basically done. Like that was basically
Yeah,
one. There was
he's
just a shot
cooked.
after that when he went down and literally bounced his head off the counters. That would
Yeah.
that right there, it wasn't needed. But I understand when you're fighting and you're like in that when you're in that kind of like flow state,
Yeah, the
you're
zone.
yeah, you just want to make sure that that person does not get up. You want to make sure that until the ref pulls me off, I'm going to keep being off until I make sure I get the win. It was a really good. It was a really good win for him. I am kind of disappointed that it's a shame that we didn't get to see him against LeBron Murphy on this card, because that was obviously the original plan. I wouldn't mind if them two actually tried to rebook that fight actually.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea, is getting them back in, trying to get them back in there together.
I can know, but 50K, he got himself another 50K.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Moving on to the main event, Jack Hermannson, Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer trying to break into the top 15. Jack trying to hold on to his
10.
spot.
Top 10.
Or sorry, top 10. Jack's trying to hold his spot. What are your thoughts? Because Jack, overall comes out with a unanimous decision. He got pushed to an extent, but it seems like after the second round-ish, maybe third, it feels like Jack had the experience factor and kind of used those tools to negate Joe Pyfer's abilities. What were your thoughts there?
This was a case of too early, too soon, like for Joe Pyfer. He looked really good, and he looked really good in round one, and he even managed to rock Jack a little bit.
Yes,
And it was very interesting because normally when it's someone's first fight to trying to go in there and you face against your first top 10 guy and you're the main event and you rock someone right that early, most times the guy, like if in that kind of scenario, they will kind of like go for it. He didn't. He was a bit more like patient, thinking, I'm going over 5 rounds. Let me just be a little bit patient.
right.
But that kind of backfired on him in this part, because maybe if he did go for it and applied on a bit more pressure, he maybe could have either he could potentially put maybe Hermannson away, or having so rocked that he'd be compromising round 2, where he can actually recover, assess, and then obviously go for the finish. Because after like you said, after he looked really good for rounds 1 and 2. After round 3, Jack Hermannson used his experience and he kind of just big broed him. Like he literally big broed him.
Yeah, he did.
He showed Joe why he was his best opponent so far, and why Hermannson has been ranked 8 for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
He's kind of been within that top 10 for basically years now. Only really good guys beat him. Chris Curtis last year thought this was his opportunity to go beat Jack Hermannson. Jack Hermannson put that away. I feel like most people think, if I'm fighting at 185 pounds, if I want to fight someone to kind of break into that top 10 on paper, then probably would say I actually want to fight Jack Hermannson.
Yes.
And Jack Hermannson is showing, cool, that's fine, but you're gonna have to be someone to beat me. If you just think I'm just gonna come here and literally just get laid over, that basically won't happen.
Right.
Roman Delitsy managed to put him away, and Delitsy is showing that he's worthy of being within the top 10. Jared Cannonier, I think in 2019, when came in and he fought against Manson, put him away in round 2, I believe.
Yes.
And we see what Jared Cannonier is basically now. Good luck trying to fight Hermannson now, because Hermannson has made it. Hermannson has showed he's really good everywhere. Don't get me wrong, he has a good base when it comes to grappling, but he managed to put on Chris Curtis last year, and even against Joe Pyfer, who was mixing things very, very well.
Yeah.
So if I am Joe, I probably will take just like a step back, you know, go back down to drawing board, reassess, work on what basically went wrong. Probably have 2 fights before I even think about going around that kind of like high level
Top 10.
again. I wouldn't be mad if I fought someone within the top 15, but again, because obviously Dana likes him a lot, he probably is going to get pushed. But I would say too early, too soon for him, but a very impressive veteran performance from the Joe.
Do you think Joe Pyfer has the skills to be one of those top 10 guys, though? I feel like he's kind of close, but he's just, I don't know if he's missing something.
Potentially, because he has the power that his power makes him dangerous. I'm not gonna go into the whole he broke Francis Ngannou record on the fucking like machine kind of thing, because
I don't care about that. No.
Yeah, I don't care about it either, because anyone can literally go in front of a punching bag or a punch machine and hit hard. But we've seen him inside the cage. He can crack. Crack, and he has other facets towards his game as well. He just needs to fine tune them just a little bit. Okay. I wouldn't mind him if he fought against someone like Robocop. Actually, that fight there would be very.
I don't hate that at all.
Yeah,
I don't hate that at all. That would be a great fight for him to display his power too, because RoboCop will fight with him. All right, AJ. Fun fight night. I think there's some really solid fights. All right, AJ. Let's move on to UFC 298. Massive card, my man. I mean, has anybody talked more shit than Ilia Topuria? I mean, this guy is relentless. This man is just anything that comes to his mind, he is saying it out loud at this point. Excited for this card, AJ. Let's start at the bottom. I'm putting it all on the line. If Miranda Maverick does not win this weekend, this podcast is dead. I'm betting the entire podcast on this fight. Bro. Miranda Maverick versus Andrea Lee. If Miranda Maverick loses, the podcast is dead. I want everybody to hear that officially. AJ, anything on the early prelims, anything on the prelims you want to talk about? Shout out to Val Woodburn getting back in there also. I do want to shout him out.
Yes, that's actually the fight that I'm actually looking forward to, because he kind of ran into a buzzsaw on his UFC debut, last minute fight against Bo Nickel, and this guy is naturally a welterweight, and this fight is at welterweight. He's actually facing against someone who's obviously from my side of the world. Even though he's Welsh, we're still under the same UK banner. So it's going to be very interesting to see, because even though Woodburn's 9-2, Elliot, I believe his name is, who he's fighting against. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's only lost twice, so it's kind of nice to see him actually get someone who has of a similar like level of experience. So it'd be kind of good to see how Val looks at his more natural weight class.
Yes.
And he also has a full training camp, because he literally just got put on last time out.
So. Bo Nickel, that wasn't really fair. I'm excited to see him back in there. You know what? I'm going to go out and say it. If Val Woodburn doesn't win his fight, this podcast is also over. Early prelims have a lot of hey,
stakes.
Early prelims matter. They matter on this podcast. We will shut it down if they don't win. Maverick, Woodburn, lock them in, folks. All right, AJ.
I just want to go now. If they don't win, it just means I get myself another free day in the week. So either way,
you got to view it. Hey, positives and negatives, guys. AJ, moving on to the prelims. Caught my eye right away. Mackenzie Dern steps in to fight Amanda Lemos. What are your thoughts there on Mackenzie Dern stepping in? If she fights remotely the way she fought last time, this fight does not matter.
Smoked. She's getting fucking smoked. If
she cannot do that shit again. Keep going, man, because that was bad.
If she doesn't learn how to actually like defend strikes and not throw so like loopy and lazy jabs out there. If she does what she did against Andrade, Lemos will smoke her.
Oh my
Lemos will
God, so
smoke
bad.
her. She needs to keep it tight, keep it simple, and keep it effective in order for her to set up her grappling, because we know her grappling is literally all world. Lemos can actually grapple as well, but I'll give Dern a big advantage in that. And also, Lemos is going to have a point to prove, because obviously last time out, like, the champ literally just put an absolute clinic on her. It was literally dominant. It wasn't even close. It was just one
It
side.
was.
Apart from a few moments that Lemos had in round one when it was like submission attempts, apart from that, Zhang literally just put an absolute masterclass on her. Lemos is going to take all of that frustration out on Dern. Dern is going to have to be switched on. You can't throw anything lazy like against her, because anyhow she does, Lemos will smoke her.
Oh,
Lemos
for
will smoke
sure. That one has a chance to get ugly. Do we want to touch on DeLima versus Justin Taffa? Two big monsters going at it in the prelims.
CTE Classic, man. Them two are just going to throw down, bro. Them
Just
two are just going
heavy,
to throw
just
down.
heavy hands.
Just heavy hands, and both guys will come forward, and both guys will be willing to take shots as well, especially Tougher. We really know that them two they'll be willing to basically go out and take one to go out and land two. Another one fight I'm actually looking forward to seeing is Nakamura against Carlos Vera. Nakamura's 8-0. He comes from a wrestling background, but he has very heavy hands. I think he came up on the road to UFC tournament thing in Asia. Definitely someone that I'll be keeping my eye on the prelims.
Yeah, you were right. He came up on the tour. Last question on the prelims before we get into the loaded main card. If you're DeLima, do you come out and you throw a flying knee?
Fuck it.
Just because that's what Derek caught him with last time, and just tell, hey, there's no bad effects. I'm gonna try it myself. But prelims, those are three solid fights on the regular prelims right there. But AJ, what we're all tuning in for, what we're buying this pay-per-view for, is this main card. It is really stacked. Really stacked.
Good quality.
Dude, we've got Marab and Henry fighting fourth on the card. Like, this is crazy. Let's start off with the first fight. Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. We both are very high on Roman Kopylov. What do you think on this fight?
I just want to say this first. I know a lot of people have been moaning about, so far this year, the fights in terms of within the UFC haven't been the greatest. This fight right here kind of shows how good the matchmaking can be, because originally we were going to get Aliskerov, who looks like a well beater, against obviously Anthony Hernandez. Ikram gets basically injured. He can't come in. They bring in Kopylov, who I've been saying for a long time now is defo worthy of that 10 of that 11 to 15 ranking. Like, he should be given like a really good opportunity. This fight is so interesting to me because both guys are on a 4-fight win streak. And last time Hernandez lost was against Kevin Holland, when Kevin Holland went on that 2020 crazy five-fight run. He's looked good ever since, and he's looked better in each fight. He even choked out Rodolfo Vieira, who we talked about like not too long ago, and that shows how really good he is. He's very well rounded, and he keeps on improving. Kopylov looks amazing on the feet. His strikes are so sharp. His head kicks, knees, like his striking is very, very crisp. It's this fight, and another guy who's also on a 4-fight win streak as well. So obviously both guys are coming into really, really good form.
Yes.
This is going to come down to two things. Can Hernandez's striking be good enough to basically live with Kopylov's? And will he be able to use his grappling? If he's able to do that, there is an avenue for him to win, because Kopylov has been choked out before. So if I'm basically Hernandez, I'm looking to at least to live with him on the feet until there is an opening for me to go and use my grappling. Kopylov, if you see the thing with Kopylov, if he sees any kind of window, he will throw something dynamic out there. This fight is gonna be very this is a good fight to basically impact the main card. It's a great fight. And styles make fights. I just have a feeling that Kopylov is going to be able to catch Hernandez early. Just catch him with something.
Yeah, no, I like that. I'm all in with you. I'm taking Kopylov TKO round 1.
Same.
Next fight. This is a crazy important fight for the bantamweight division. Merab
Devashvili.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Merab versus Henry Cejudo. Super important. Here's what it is, AJ. Can Cejudo keep up with Merab? Because we know Merab is a machine. He's a Terminator. Can Henry keep up with him?
If this was a few years ago, I would say definitely yes, because Henry is a Olympic gold medalist.
I know, yeah, he is, but this pace is wild.
But Henry looked slow against Aljamain last year, but of course, a long layoff, you would kind of expect that. Merab just looks like he's just running through everyone. If he has to shoot for takedowns 90 times, he will shoot 90 times. He literally just keeps on going. He keeps on going. Henry is the cleaner striker on the feet. I'm just not sure around this age now. Would he be able to keep Merab at bay in order to obviously maybe navigate his way on the feet? Because we have seen Merab get caught before. Marlon Moraes managed to catch him, but Merab recovered and he just did Merab things. He can just run. He can just run through people. And his pressure.
Tough fight, man.
And his pressure is literally next to none. Like his pressure is insane. Like he will just keep on going. He can throw as well, so I wouldn't be because against Pete, even though he was taken down at will, there were times when he would engage on the feet, and because you're so drained from literally trying to focus on focusing on the takedowns, and when he's taking you down and trying to get back up, that does open out the chance for Merab to obviously catch you on the feet as well. So obviously don't be shocked if Merab does have success on the feet as well. This is crazy for me to say considering Henry is a former 2-weight champion. Yep. But I have a feeling that Merab's going to run through him. I've got him by unanimous decision.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you there. I also have Merab by unanimous decision. I think it's too much for Henry to handle at this age. I think Merab overwhelms them. Give me a unanimous decision for Merab also. Next fight. Jeff Neal, Ian Gary.
Big fight.
This is interesting, man. This is interesting. What does Jeff Neal have to do to make this a fight he can win?
He has to close the distance and make Ian fight him in the pocket, because Jeff Neal has crazy power. He's probably one of the most hardest hitting 170 years within the weight class. We saw what Ian Gary did to Neil Magny. He chewed up his leg and pieced him up at distance. He pieced him up at that distance because he's so tall and so long. He can literally do that, and he's so technically great at doing that. Jeff Neal has gonna have to he may have to obviously like eat 1 or 2 shots in, but he's gonna have to be first. He's gonna have to come forward, because we've seen Ian Gary can get dropped, even though he's looked near perfect. Son Kanon dropped him really bad. Yeah. Jeff Neal is able to catch him like that. The fight is done. Sure. So, and also, this fight is huge for Ian Gary because over the past 3-4 months, his name has been everywhere. He's been getting slandered all over the place. You know, he's like, I really don't like talking about things outside of the fight, but obviously just
Mhm.
I'd feel like it wouldn't be fair if I didn't. Everyone, well, 90, I'll say 95% of people is looking at Ian Gary to fall flat on his face and fail, just so that people can literally clown him and slander him and
Yes.
roast him and all of that stuff. This fight is going to show can he rise to the occasion, because personally for me, I think he's really, really talented. Like
He's
so
really good, dude.
he's really good, and I feel like him talking and the things surrounding his personal life kind of make people overlook that. Yeah, so distance control is going to be key in this fight, because if Ian Gary is basically able to obviously keep it at range, he wins all day. If
Yep.
Jeff Neal is able to obviously go manages to get inside Ian's chest and get up
Mhm.
close, there is a route for him to win, because he's more than capable of putting anyone lights out. But I
For
have a
sure.
feeling, feeling that Ian Gary is going to do something quite special, and he's going to rise to the occasion. I've got him by finish in round 2.
Okay. Ian Gary by finish in round 2. I'm going to also stick with Ian Gary, but I'm going to go Ian Gary by unanimous decision. I think he could I think he drags this one out. I think he dominates the fight. I'm going unanimous decision, Ian Gary.
Nice.
Next fight, another big fight,
Your guy,
middleweight.
your
Robert
guy,
Whitaker comes back after getting steamrolled by Dricus Du Plessis. He's fighting
your
someone
guy,
who I thought was more
your
entertaining when he was drunk all the time.
your
Uh,
favorite
uh,
guy, your
Paulo Costa.
yes.
AJ, over under. Does Paulo Costa pull out of this fight before Saturday? We've got 4 days, man. We've got a lot of time for him to pull out of this fight.
Even for him, and this is a guy who turned up to so overweight that they had to move the fight up a weight class against Marvin.
Yeah.
Nah, I do have a feeling that he will turn up and Rob finally gets to fight Costa, because how many times have they tried to book this fight? Like 3-4 times now.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Um this is going to come down to 2 things. What Costa turns up,
Right.
and was the Dracus fight a fluke in terms of Rob's performance?
Yes.
That's basically what's going to come down to, because Costa is bigger than Dracus and probably hits harder. So if he's able to literally like bully Rob
Yep.
and really put it on him, there is a way for him to win.
For sure.
If he literally just plays bully ball and literally just somehow just runs and literally just runs basically through him. But on paper, Rob is better than him everywhere from a technical standpoint. And Rob is used to dealing with monsters before. We saw him against Yao Romero in those wars. We saw how he handled against Javid Cannonier. It's only really Dricus is the only guy who's managed to actually walk through him. Izzy and Wonderboy, they literally just picked him off. They literally picked him off. And now and that was kind of like Rob's kind of kryptonite when he fought against a striker who is more technically better than him. But obviously Dracus was the first guy just to literally just run through him.
Right.
Not given that Rob is one of those guys who's kind of like all in, like he takes everything very seriously. He's training. He really likes to like make sure he is prepared and as well rounded as basically possible. I've got Rob bouncing back by unanimous decision. I wouldn't be shocked if he does to Costa what he did to Vettori in Paris, where like he just puts on an all-world show and kind of bounces back.
I don't know why, but I have a bad feeling about this fight, and I didn't feel great about the Dricus fight either for some reason. I don't know what it is. I hope Rob's not on the downturn of his career. I'm going to go with Rob to win by unanimous decision also, but I just wanted noted that I do not feel great about this fight for some reason. Yeah, I'm going to go Rob by unanimous decision. I think, like you said, I think on paper his skills are better than Paulo's, but getting in there with a guy who's bigger than you are after what happened with Dricus, I think Paulo tries to find that same rhythm and that same fight plan as Dricus followed, and I think it could be a big issue for Robert. So, yeah, but I'm going to stick with my guy and go unanimous decision for Whitaker. AJ, next fight. This one's been built up quite a bit now. Volk, Topuria, main event for featherweight gold. What do you see with this one, man? Who wins this fight and how does it happen?
I've been going back and forth about this for what feels like months. And like you mentioned earlier, Topuria has talked a lot. He's talked a lot. He's basically non-stop saying, this is going to be one of his most easy fights ever. On his social media, he's already put himself as as basically champion. I'm going to be 15-0. He's 14-0. So he's going out thinking, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to dog walk one of the best fighters that we have ever seen, and the greatest featherweight, in my opinion, now that we've ever seen, which is kind of crazy to me. And obviously Volk has got everything to prove now, because you've obviously lost back to back, even though it was you daring to be great and you went against the best fighter currently out right now. And you're coming off a horrific knockout loss, and everyone's down you now, and now it's basically open season on you now. Whereas it was around like a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, people will say Volk all day,
right?
Like Volk basically all day. Now is very interesting because as much as Ilya talks, he has every reason to feel that way, because he's fucking good. He's good everywhere. This is probably one of the most well-rounded contenders that we've seen in a long time, because he's elite everywhere. Like, people kind of forget, like, his most elite aspect of his game is his actual, like, grappling. Like, he's been doing, like, Greco-Roman wrestling and jiu-jitsu for a very, very long time. It's just that now he's managed to have his boxing and his striking catch up with that. So he's really good everywhere. This fight is gonna be a kickboxing fight because this is gonna take away one of kind of like Volk's kind of like best assets. Volk is great at mixing everything up very, very well. We saw against Yair. He literally picked him up, he took him down, and obviously went and did the ground and pound. He'll be quite worried to do that against basically someone like Ilya and Kasor, and both of them are quite short, so they're going to be around the same height. So obviously, and I'll give Ilya a better chance to basically catch Volk as well, so he won't be striking up. Even though Ilya's shown against Jai Herbert up at 155 pounds, he's more comfortable of obviously closing in range and getting you inside the pocket. And it's going to come down to Volk's footwork as well. Is he able to obviously avoid Ilya's power shots to obviously go and get his own off?
Yeah.
And again, it's tough because no one over the age of 35 has ever managed to retain a belt at those smaller weight classes. But if anyone can do it, it is Volk. Volk is going to have to be switched on, and Volk will be switched on. He's going to be very, very motivated. Very, very fast hands. His fucking leg kicks are great, but it's going to be his footwork that's going to be key. I just have a bad feeling about this, though. I have a feeling that obviously after all the talk that obviously Topuria is doing, I got a feeling that he's going to back it up, and I think he's going to knock him out late in round 2.
Damn. Don't love to hear that from my guy, Volk. Question for you. How much better do you think Ilya is than Yair?
Yair gives him problems. Yair gives him problems. Yair gives
Volk ran through him pretty much.
But styles make fights, though. Honestly,
I know.
styles make fights, and I will say this, and this is going to be crazy for me to say. Volk is a better matchup for Ilya than Max would be for Ilya, in my personal opinion. Just because of Max's height and range, and he's a better striker. Like, he's so good on the feet, and he just puts volume on. And like you kind of saw against Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett got tagged, and he literally just backtracked. He didn't get anything going. You know what Max is like. Max can take shots, and he will literally keep going. And he kind of overwhelms people unless you're Volk. I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy for me to say, but I just have a feeling that at this point in Volk's career, it seems like the era may be coming to an end, and I just got a bad feeling that at some point in round 2 that Ilya's going to catch him with something hard and lay him out, and it's going to be brutal.
Okay, all right, I'm with you. Man, that doesn't sound terrible in terms of who you're going to pick, but I'm going to stick with Volk. I'm going to stick with my guy. I'm sticking with Volk to retain the featherweight championship. I think he is going to be ready. I think we're going to see a very, very good Volk. I think all this talk from Ilya is only fueling the fire, and I think Volk wants. I think he wants. I think he really wants this win, because you can't just keep poking the bear, and then the bear shows up on Saturday night, and you have to beat the bear. That's what I feel like Volk's going to show up as. I'm going to pick Volk to win this fight. I don't have a method. I'm taking my guy to win this fight. Massive opportunity for Ilya. This is crazy, man, because he wins this fight and his stock is just insane. So there's a lot riding on this fight. I'm excited for this fight, but give me Volk to retain at UFC 298. AJ, we've talked about a lot of stuff today. Do you have anything else for us before we get out of here tonight?
I've got my Doonju tickets, so I'm pretty happy about that.
That's big. That is big to have those secured.
IMAX, bro. First day. I'm seeing the first day of release, so I'm not getting no spoilers on that. I can promise you.
Let me pull up my calendar. Where's my calendar at?
March 1st.
March 1st is a Friday.
2 weeks away. 2 weeks away.
That's tough. That's tough. It's gonna be a big. That's gonna be a big day. Big day for the movies. Hopefully, I'm gonna be there on Sunday night. Is what I'm looking to get in there. I'm excited though. Very excited.
And to also talk on movies, I watched For Fallen Angels. I've started, like everyone who knows who's been following this, I've been venturing more into the more Japanese and Korean side of cinema. I started watch my first Hong Kong movie last night, which was Fallen Angels. Amazing, something I definitely highly recommend. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me in terms of film today.
All right, man. Hell of a show. Obviously, we've moved to Tuesdays. I'm excited about our move. That gives people a little bit more time to consume the show before big fight day. AJ, I will see you next Tuesday. I'm excited. Let's keep it going, man.
Of course, bro. Let's keep
HOA, MMA, out.